My hands down number one benefit for implementing a minimalist approach to dieting is just how simple it's made my life. One thing I realized in my journey into minimalism is really how much time we spend thinking about planning and deciding what we're going to eat. So sometime in Q4 last year, I came across this video by Hamza Ahmed.
The benefits you'll get when you go onto the carnivore diet are more muscle, less body fat, better health, more focus, less anxiety.
I can't wait to share with you the benefits that I've experienced from eating a minimalist animal protein based diet. My hands down number one benefit for implementing a minimalist approach to dieting is just how simple it's made my life. By focusing on just a handful of food like beef, chicken, lamb, pork, eggs and butter, I've transformed my decision making process for what I was going to eat from what used to be a complicated ordeal to something of a breeze. I've practiced prepping my meals ahead of time for the last 8 to 9 years, and each week it would take me up to 6 hours just to prep my meals, not taking into consideration the amount of time it would need for me to plan out what I was going to eat on top of getting the groceries for the meals that I needed to prep. Meal prepping used to be a daunting weekly task that I had to do every week to plan out the carbs, protein, vegetables, as well as dessert that I was going to consume, not even taking into consideration the kind of art and science that goes into planning out your meal so that it hits your specific caloric goal as well as macronutrient intake that I was trying to reach to. By simplifying the types of food that I eat, it completely reduced the amount of time that I take to prep my meals on a weekly basis, on top of simplifying the cooking process because I'm repeating the same food that I love almost on a daily basis, shaving off a few extra minutes of efficiency back into my day. The same goes for when I'm dining out as well, because I already have a mental list of items that I eat. For instance, if I'm going out to a cafe, my go-to will always be a hot Americano or an iced Americano, and if I'm going out to eat, I already have a list of food that I consume. So it makes the whole process a lot more simple, be it going out for mixed rice or be it going to Nando's or any one of the different brands out there. I already know what I'm going to eat, so picking a meal out from the menu is such a simple process. Another fantastic benefit with applying a minimalist approach to dieting is that it had made me a lot more mindful of what I was eating, and I had also practiced a lot more better portion control. By narrowing down the types of food that I eat, I would become a lot more aware of how much I was eating and the types of food that I was eating with each meal, or more so how much I actually had to eat to feel full with each meal. Prior to going on this journey, I feel like I was eating just to make sure that I hit 2 meals a day. Whether I was hungry or not, if it was time to eat, I would eat just to make sure I had completed my meal. One of the issues with eating this way is that more often than not, for a bigger guy like me, I was often restricting myself to a very small caloric window, or I was giving myself very huge caloric deficits to function in. This eventually led me down binging streaks where I would just devour everything in sight without any form of control. This method of selecting a handful of food that is high in protein and healthy fat left me feeling a lot more satiated at the end of every meal, which as a byproduct helped me with much better portion control, which as we both know helps us with living a generally a lot more of a healthy lifestyle, as well as if you're looking to maintain or lose some weight, it gives you tremendous benefit in better weight control. Now let's talk about energy levels. I know you might be thinking if you're not consuming any carbs, you must feel pretty hungry as well as tired throughout your day. Quite the contrary. Prior to this, when I was consuming a balanced diet of carbs, protein and fat, I would usually feel really sluggish or slow after a big meal. I would have to compensate with caffeine and it would take me hours to perk back up again. But by applying a minimalist animal protein based diet, I feel like my energy levels are tapered throughout my day and I had completely overcome this post-lunch slump. As a byproduct, I've come to learn how really addicted to sugar I was. Sadly, for the longest time I convinced myself that just because I was drinking bottles of Coke Zero throughout the day, that because it did not have any calories or it was sweetened artificially, it was fine for my body. But now I realize how it was really feeding my sugar addiction, and what's worse is for my body type, I actually experienced an insulin spike every time I consumed a bottle of Coke Zero. So what this means is basically my body's reacting the same way that it does if I'm drinking an actual sugary beverage as it would if I was consuming a Coke Zero which had no sugar or because it was artificially sweetened. So one of the key benefits, again, by approaching your diet through a lens of a minimalist lifestyle, by just taking on some animal-based protein, what you would realize is that you would have an equal tapered out level of energy throughout your day. Now I'd like to give you a glimpse into what some of my meals look like. This past couple of weeks I've been eating once a day, and here's what you might typically see on my plate. I usually have 3 slices of bacon. I'll use the bacon fat to fry 5 eggs with butter and mozzarella. I have 1 serving of red meat, be it steak or lamb, and 1 portion of chicken, which is sometimes processed patties. As you can see, keeping it minimal doesn't mean sacrificing flavor or variety, so feel free to get creative and find out what works for you. There you have it, the benefits of a minimalist diet: simplicity, mindfulness, and cleaner energy levels throughout your day. These are some of the pillars that have completely transformed my relationship with food. If you're considering going on a minimalist approach to dieting or doubling down on an animal protein-based diet, just take it one step at a time. You don't have to completely transform your diet overnight, but try incorporating a lot more animal-based protein into your diet and see how that makes you feel. In next week's video, I'm going to bring you along with me for a grocery haul to show you how I live a animal-based carnivore diet for cheap. Till then, thank you for watching this week's video. I'll catch you in the next one.